Oh, yes. It is the Wing Interjection Show. And this time we're actually doing it near each other, so this could come to blows. I don't know how it's going to end for me, but we're going to find out because we are here to talk about some of the hot topics going on in the world of MMA. My man, what's up?
I'm almost 50 years old, but speed still kills, my man. Speed still kills.
Dude, when you're 50, you'll understand why you're slower at 60.
All right, well, Dave, let's jump right into this, buddy.
All right, let's get into round number one. And with all the conversation around Cejudo's comeback and McGregor wanting to go up to 170, who makes it to the 3-division champ first and why?
Well, if you're saying between McGregor and Cejudo, neither. I'm just going to be honest. Neither one's going to make it right now. I can see that Henry could come back and win the bantamweight, but after watching Volkanovski and what he's been doing, I don't see Cejudo beating Volkanovski for that featherweight. So Cejudo would have to wait for Volkanovski to go up to lightweight and then have the ability to try to, get that right guy. But you look at Max Holloway or Ortega; those are not good matchups for him as far as length and size and speed. I don't know. I just say that it's not going to be Cejudo, and it's definitely not going to be McGregor. Where's McGregor going to go? 145, 155? He's going to be the 170-pound champion? No way.
Yeah, if I said McGregor was going to do that after he won the 155-pound title, was going to make that run, there was a little bit of an opportunity in there. I'm not saying he would have done it. I would have leaned more probably towards him. But Henry Cejudo, to me, stylistically is a bad matchup for everyone. Now, Volkanovski, I agree with you, has to go to 55. If he does go to 55, Henry can slide in there. But stylistically, the Ortega fight is not a good fight for him because of the submissions and as well as on the feet, the reach, the range, all of those things, and the power. But on top of that, Max Holloway, though, is a good fight for him.
Because he can take him down.
He can take him down, control him. Max doesn't have the submissions that Brian Ortega has. So that is a good fight for him. I don't know if he'll hang out and linger there, though, as champion very long because it's just too dangerous at that weight class.
Too much length, too much size.
I would, so if we're going to have to pick and choose, I go Henry over Conor for sure.
So would I.
But realistically, I don't think either one of them.
All right, and with that, let's get into round number 2 here. It's time for some fighting words.
Oh, I love this because everyone yells at me.
Solid weekend of fights. We had a pretty busy comment section, and so I had to pull them in. Get these comments on the screen for you guys. So, Josh, you're going to have 2 different comments, and John, yours are essentially the same comment, so I'm going to give you them together and let you just go ham. All right?
Okay.
So, Josh, let's get your first one in. So first comment from Faraz Selman says, Josh is the most biased analyst in the sport. Thank you, John, for always putting him in his place.
Yes. Thank you, John.
Thank you. Yeah.
You guys know that John and I normally agree on 99% of the time, right? We just tell you guys we disagree. We don't normally disagree. We normally agree. So the bottom line is this, you guys, when you guys say that I'm super biased, read the rest of the comments, okay, like I do. And you'll find that 50% agrees with me, and the other 50%, like you, Faraz, Selman, or whatever, agrees with you. So I can't be that biased considering that 50% of the people actually agree with me. So just so you guys understand, what I say is really what is the truth. I have no reason to be biased.
Can't help that you don't like it, right?
Yeah, just because you don't like it. I'm telling you guys the truth. If you guys don't like what I have to say because it doesn't fit your narrative, I understand. That's normal for other people. But I'm normally John. Because you and I are usually
normally right.
We're normally right.
Okay.
All right. The next one for Josh comes from Mark Ernest, who says, Josh genuinely has some of the worst takes I've ever seen in MMA. I can't believe the dude used to fight. If I didn't know who he is, I'd think he's clueless.
Well, I'm glad that you know who I am. That makes me feel a lot better, to be honest. No, I'm not just some guy standing next to Big John McCarthy on this podcast. I love that. But look, let's be honest. Like I just said to the last person and their comment is I'm not gonna always agree with you. You're not gonna always agree with me, and that's okay. But if you read the comments, what you're talking about, you're probably the other 50% don't agree with you either. So I must be right. It's something like it really just comes down to not everyone's narrative is gonna fit mine. I just have a little bit more experience than you guys in talking about these situations.
And being in these situations. And actually doing these situations.
Yes.
Okay.
So majority of the time I'm right.
All right, there you go.
All right.
So
for John, from 20 for 20.
20 for 20?
Dear John,
Aljo
Aljo
landed
30
for 30.
15
I thought it was
strikes.
hindsight was 50-50.
Well, hindsight is 50-50.
Yes.
And the first to Jan's 5. I'm surprised, but you got fooled by the commentary too. ... And then Jesse says,
I got fooled.
Aljo won the first on volume and quality strikes. John, you are straight up wrong.
Okay, well, Jesse and 20 for 20. No, I'm not. You're wrong. This is the problem. Aljo, I'm telling you right now, I thought he fought a great fight. And I thought that if you're going to look at the fight as a whole, I'm going to give it to Aljo. But if you go round by round, I'm going to have to give it to Jan. And you're talking about the first round, and here's the difference in the first round and with 20 for 20. 15 strikes landed to Jan's 5. Look it. I'm going to hit you 5 times with my right hand while I give you 15 times to hit me with your little jab. Which one are you going to take? It's about who ends up having more damage. In that first round, Aljo fought smart. A lot of movement. He wasn't running. He was purposely trying to create a situation where Jan was having to chase him, and he was throwing some kicks in here, but nothing that had any power, any damage. He was just trying to frustrate Jan, and that was smart. I agree with his tactic. It doesn't mean he wins the round, though, because if you go back to the last 45 seconds of that round, take a look at the shots that Piotr Jan lands. They are the cleaner, more effective strikes throughout the round in those last 45 seconds. That's what wins him the round. And if you don't like it, that's okay, Jesse. That's okay, 20 for 20. But a whole lot of people look at it the way I do, and I think I have an idea of what I'm supposed to look at in a fight. I don't know what you've ever done. I don't know what you've ever learned, but I hope you learned something right now.
Yeah, you can't look at the you can't look at the strikes when they're just pat, pat, pat.
You're going off of significant strikes by someone with the UFC doing their little button push. It doesn't mean one fucking thing. It's about who lands the bigger, heavier strikes. Those are the ones that are going to win in that type of round. Now, if there's no good strikes at all, then it can be volume. But Piotr Jan landed some really good strikes right near the end of that round, and that's what takes it. Sorry.
Yeah. Next.
All right. With that, let's get into the third round here. If McKee dominates his rematch, who is your number 1 featherweight?
John, I'm going to get a lot of flack for this.
Yeah,
to me, it's AJ McKee. And now, look, I also believe that Volkanovski's wiped out his division. Okay, I'd like to see him and Max do it again, but only because both fights were super close. But that lets me know right there, if you're already talking about him doing another fight with Max, I think Max loses to AJ. Now, styles make matchups. Volkanovski's a harder matchup for AJ than Max is. I understand that. But him and Volk make for a really good fight. All-around great fight. I'm not saying that AJ's going to win, but I still put AJ ahead of Volk. Hey, you want to talk about competition? I understand Volk's had the tougher competition.
Yep.
So I would maybe lean towards Volk because of that, but that would only be it. That's it. That's all.
Look, they're both fantastic fighters, but I got to give it to Volkanovski based upon what he's. And here's the difference. This is one of the big differences. When you look at Volkanovski, he's not just a featherweight. This is a guy, like his one loss is at welterweight.
Yeah.
That's where his loss is at. He fought at middleweight. All right? Fought at middleweight, wins at middleweight. His one loss is in the welterweight, 170 pounds. AJ has never gone up to that type of weight thing. AJ's a phenomenal fighter. But if I'm going to say who is the best right now, it's Volkanovski.
See, I look at who's faster. AJ's faster. Who's got the longer reach? AJ does. Who's got the better wrestling? AJ does. Where does AJ lose this fight outside of fight experience? Not submission-wise either. AJ's got better submissions.
He does have better submissions, but he's not going to submit Volkanovski. Because if Brian Ortega did not submit Volkanovski, I'm going AJ's not going to
That's
submit
like
him.
That's MMA math.
It's not MMA math.
It can happen.
It just shows there's certain guys that have a mentality, and Volkanovski's that guy.
I agree with you.
He's got that mentality, and it is that mentality and that fight IQ that he comes out and fights with that tells me things about him that, you know what, this is a guy anybody can be beat. AJ can be beat. Volkanovski can be beat. But right now, Volkanovski, man, we talk about confidence. Hello, there's your guy.
Okay, so John, but you look at when Max fought Cater, that Max could beat anybody.
Yes, that's true.
But that Max that fought, who do you fight next?
Yair.
That Max is not beating a lot of people.
Yeah.
He barely got through Yair. You know what I mean? So styles make matchups.
Styles make matchups.
Styles make matchups, and it comes down to, I just think that Volkanovski is a tougher fight for AJ, than Max is. But Max is a tough fight for Volk. And I think that they all intermix really well. It's
They're all great
it's hard to
fighters.
pick, but they're all
All right.
great fighters.
Let's get into round number 4. It's
you
time
tired
for
of us there,
Fetar.
Yeah, John went way over, so I had to keep going.
You guys have a time limit, and you guys stick to it. So
For every action, there's a I love these.
for every
Come
action,
on,
there's a
baby.
reaction, and today I want to get your reaction. So 1 month from today, we have Mr. Ion Cutelaba, and he has a fight against Ryan Spann. And so I just wanted to, in his memory, play this video for you guys of his memorable weigh-in moments. And so get your reaction to these weigh-in moments that are epic. All right,
Let's
here we
go.
go. I'm gonna
He
hit play
runs
now.
into everybody.
What is this?
That was so.
Did you yell at him?
It's Goliath. That was the first
jeez.
one. Yeah, like Goliath was just laughing at him. He goes all the way across.
That's crazy that they allow him to do that.
Totally crazy. Look at that. Goliath just puts it to the side. It's like, okay, first off, where's your referee? Where are your inspectors?
The same could be
What
said
the
though when they
hell?
Did you do Kane and Jr. when that happened?
First time?
No, the
That
time
didn't
that they
happen.
ran up to the face-to-face. That was
Yeah.
the second fight,
That
not
was
the
the second
first.
fight. I
You didn't do
did
that
the
one?
first one.
I was about to blame you.
Yeah, see, don't blame me. Look around. Look at Khalil.
Oh, man.
Khalil just laughing.
These are so funny. Like, he just doesn't care.
Look at here's the Hanyak.
Oh, man.
Oh, look, he grabs him, man. You look and you go.
Look at Dana. Dana's just like, what are you guys doing?
Because Dana's sitting there and he's always talking about other guys when they're up there, like Sean Shelby, and you know what happened,
Yeah.
long ago with DC and John Jones. But you take a look and it's hard to stop that.
Yeah.
I don't care who you are. Dana can't stop it, and it's like it's amazing. But that right there, Dustin Jacoby's been in too many fights. He's not gonna. Ian's doing that thing to try to intimidate.
Yeah.
You're not gonna intimidate.
No.
It's not working, but
It's a waste of energy.
But he keeps on trying to do it.
It's a waste of energy.
Yes, it is.
All right, let's go.
All
Next
right.
one.
5th and final round. Time for some bitchin' or bunk. And so I want to get your take on this one. So fighters going into the UFC for only the name recognition. Is it bitchin' or is it bunk?
John, I think it's bitching to get yourself in there. But once you're in there, and if you're having success and you think you're going to be able to get to a title shot, stay in there. But if you're just in there winning one, losing one, winning one, losing one, I think it's bunk, because now, don't get me wrong, I think you are doing the right thing in terms of getting your name out there, getting the exposure, because the one thing the UFC does better than any other promotion is exposure.
Marketing.
Is marketing and exposure, and that's what they have, a huge train that works behind them. They push their fighters in the exposure department better than any other promotion. That's what makes them so. It's almost like selling propaganda to everyone. They believe it. People comment all the time about it, like, "Oh, this guy's so good." No, that fighter's not that good.
But if you are that guy that's getting one win, one loss, one win, you're not one of those guys that they're marketing.
No.
Okay, so let's just be honest. They're there to market the people that are going to make them money, and that's what they're supposed to do. And so you look and you say, are there a lot of fighters out there who actually get paid less money to fight in the UFC because it is part of their ego that they have to say, I'm in the UFC. I would rather make less money and fight for them than make more money and fight for someone else somewhere on the way. If that's what you're doing, it's bunk because you're not being smart.
But that happens. I see that so many times. They don't want to leave the UFC because they're like, "Oh, I'm part of the UFC," when you're getting paid peanuts. Not very smart.
Not.
All right, well, hey, that's going to wrap us up for our weigh-in interjection. We just did 5 rounds where I just knocked John out. Straight KO to the
What
chin.
the hell?
Boom. Speed kills, baby. Speed kills. 107. I would say 170. I'm like in 180 now. I'm fat. I'm super fat like Podcast Dave. All right, well, hey, I want to thank you guys so much. And go to weightinpodcast.com. Pick up some of our merch there available and check it out. And John, take us away.
Everyone out there, hope you enjoy. We will see you.